Frank and Ernest cartoon. This can't be our group, Ernie. There's nobody but a bunch of old people in there. But here's the good news, you are in the right place. I was a little concerned at first because I don't know about you, but a lot of things have changed. And when I saw happy hour on the menu, I thought, great, that's afternoon nap time for me. It's really good to see so many old faces. Did I say old faces? Well, hey, listen, you think that's bad? Stop just for a second. Stop just for a second. And think about what the class of 2014 is going to look like sitting in this room. Tattoos and piercings everywhere. Right. I hope tonight will be a night to remember. If our experiences, the reunion committee's experiences from the last 10 months and even longer, but certainly the finding process has been a real challenge. But if that experience and the phone calls that we made and the people that we talked to, tonight is going to be a night of shared experiences, memories, and reconnecting. And there will be plenty of that. But I'd like to just give you an idea of some of the things that we went through and try to find people. First of all, most of the phone calls that we got, people were just so happy to hear that we were calling, that we contacted them. We had a couple of people to say that we haven't had any phone calls for any reunions in 50 years. They were ecstatic, I'm serious. Some of those phone calls, it wasn't just, hi, hello, how are you, Rolf Hill, class of 64, reunion on October the 11th. Some of those conversations lasted for a half hour. People I hadn't talked to in 50 years. People would say, well, oh, my husband's out cutting the grass. I'll have him call you as soon as he finishes. Well, that was 3 months ago, so either he didn't want to come, his wife didn't want him to come, or he's got one hell of a piece of property. That's all. There was one phone call I wanted to tell you about because it really does apply to everybody in this room. This guy told me a story about how he had gone to, was one of these half-hour conversations, had gone to this social gathering in his community monthly, and he was striking up a conversation with this guy on a regular basis. Well, one of these gatherings, it turned into, well, there was a girl in our school. Now, she was 2 years behind us, and her name was Georgia Engel. Does anybody remember?
Yes.
Is anybody here who told me that story? Okay. So he was talking to this guy, and this other guy was saying, yeah, I was at school, and they were talking about reunions and plays and whatnot, and there was this girl, Georgia Engel, that was in one of our plays. The guy I was talking to said, well, that can't be, because she went to my high school. They were classmates. So how many people have you walked up to tonight, and who are you? You know, so 50 years does change us, hopefully for the better. We would call and leave voicemail messages. How many got a voicemail message? This is Rolf Hill, class of 64, Walter Johnson. You remember it, okay? So I left that message on this one phone, and again, thank goodness I have a bad memory because I don't remember who it was. I left that message 3 times, if not 4 times. The 4th time, a guy picks up the phone, and I said, you know, is Mary there? This is Rolf Hill and Walter Johnson. No.
There you go.
That was it. Yeah. That was it. So, and that's what we call a clue. So I didn't call it. Ted's blog really captured the essence of what tonight is all about. And again, it feels like 1962 all over again. That nervous anticipation of coming to school. When I arrived in Bethesda after a cross-country move from our prior home outside of Oakland, California, I was that awkward teenager, standing in the midst of what felt like established groups and well-connected friends. So many faces carrying so many shared memories. It was a bit of a challenge to find a place in that crowd. Homerooms helped, same people, day in, day out, so the connecting began. Quick smiles, passing glances, muted conversations, shared thoughts about homework and teachers. Friendships began forming, and as we found ourselves in new clusters, with Spanish class with Mrs. Wright, math with Colonel Tilton, and bio with Mr. Harrison, for me, the basketball court and the local Methodist church group helped create connections and a sense of belonging in this new place. I guess those fragments of connectivity, along with my innate curiosity about bringing me back to school. Still, I have to say it's a bit daunting to read those notes in this blog, knowing that my last conversation with anyone from Walter Johnson, other than Rolf Hill calling me to make sure I was coming, and trading emails with Dave Warwick was so long ago. So many paths taken, so many stories created, so little time to review the past, but maybe just enough time to build a few links to carry with us as we continue our journey. I'd like that. Thanks to the brave souls that conspired to hold this event, and you've done a terrific job. I, for one, am looking forward to sharing a few hours with classmates of 64 next weekend. A somewhat awkward senior citizen who is curious to trade smiles, hugs, and handshakes. And the stories that began when our paths crossed in that cow path called Walter Johnson. You may want to put down your celery and read this. Oh, you can't see it? No glasses. Remember the 20 extra years you added to your life through clean and healthy living? These are them. And as a footnote to that, I mentioned we're going to be leaving to go eat by table. The table that laughs the loudest I will pick first. I have a class video. I've seen it. It is amazing. You will love it. If you don't get a lump in your throat, that's all I'm going to say. Bingo training is at 8:45. We're all going to need that in the years to come. Oh, no, I'm sorry. That's a misprint. That's a misprint. Check your schedule. We're going to have some door prizes. I want to introduce all the class officers. John Culp couldn't make it tonight. This is a serious note. Seriously, I want people to hear this. John emailed me about a week ago. He's had 3 surgeries in 2 weeks. Up on the screen, if you can't see, there's a list of the class officers.
They were there.
Barbara Hustler?
She's here.
Barb's
here. Barb's here.
Here's our secretary. Bobby Baker. Hey. And of course, everybody remembers who their vice president was, right? After 50 years, I really didn't take this opportunity before, but I wanted to thank everybody that voted for me. 50 years ago. Thank you very much. And especially those people who voted for me twice.
They were from Chicago.
The next group of names that you see up on the screen.
There we go.
Oh, there you go.
There we go. Thank you, Jim. Thank you. The reunion committee, and all the names are listed there alphabetically. Probably left some people off, and I know that there were a lot of people helping this afternoon getting all of this set up. So thank you to all of them. I must admit that Gary Ship and I were the token males on the group, but that wasn't all bad, and Gary offered up his house for our clubhouse, our meeting room. So Gary, thank you for that. The golf guys, Marty, Randy, Andy, you're here somewhere. They set up a nice And last but not least, my wife, Jan Petchko Hill. She couldn't make it tonight. I'd like to take this one opportunity here. Veterans. I know you maybe not, just raise your hands. Anybody who is a veteran. Come on. Raise your hands. What happened?
You were born
in the spring of 1945.
Well, May 8th.
Well, you're pretty much right, but the history is World War II ended in Europe
May 8th.
in spring of 1945. Anybody want to venture a guess what happened 9 months later? The war ended, and 9 months later was January 1946. That's us.
Boom.
That is us. We are the baby boomers, okay? And we are on the leading edge of that wave, crashing through society. We were at the front of the line. We had a huge impact on the economy. Look at the marketplace we created. Housing, Levittown, Bowie, Maryland, for crying out loud. Those are all the results of us. Education. What better example than Walter Johnson and Walt Whitman? Whitman came about because there were so many of us. Walt Whitman was developed. Healthcare, that's a big issue for all of us right now. It seems to me that there's adult daycare or a retirement community or a nursing home on every corner, sort of like Starbucks. Anybody remember this one?
Yes.
Who went? Who went? Come on. The Beltway.
The Beltway.
It's 50 years old. Another raise of hands. Who drove the Beltway around once just to do it? And the rest of you are liars. That's how that turns out. And anybody else want to guess what happened in 1964? Slide says that we graduated. There you go.
Some did.
All right. Cuban Missile Crisis. That fifth period announcement.
Yes.
We all remember that fifth period announcement. Who doesn't remember the Vietnam War and the draft? We all went through that. Thank you, veterans. One small step for man, one giant leap for mankind. 1969, man stepped on the moon for the first time. The Berlin Wall came down. But now, let's celebrate us.
Need more cow.
We don't have any Pulitzer Prize winners. None of us walked on the moon. None of us was elected president. But there are two of us who are one-of-a-kind classmates. Ryan Frosch. Ryan, you here with us? And is now running for Attorney General for the state of Maryland.
Yeah.
Anybody else in this room written a book about Bethesda and a boy from Bethesda? Dennis McKay has. It's a fascinating book. I'm not a reader, but it's a good book. I could identify with. I'm sure you could identify with it. Laps around hot shots, going to Ocean City. It was a very good book. Okay. Ted Wilson's, and I'll let you go. Don't feel like it's 64 again. Share your thoughts, share your experiences. Make this first conversation after 50 years a new beginning.